He availed himself of an 8-shot rifle and hid in the bow. However, on further consideration, he felt ashamed of himself, letting others risk their lives in his place, thinking compassionately of his crew. All the crew gets from me for looking after this wretched barge is 10 or 11 baht a month. Why should I let them be the first to die when I'm the one who owns it? If disaster strikes, they should look after their own skins, because they have wives and children dependent on them for the rice in their bellies. That day he was to escape danger, unscathed, but the crisis brought home to him the futility of the household life. He vowed to himself that he would renounce the world life and become a monk as soon as he could guarantee the security of his family for the rest of their lives in his absence. At the time he made his vows, he was barely 19. However, he didn't take his own ambitions lightly. He took 3 years to amass sufficient wealth to support his family, only then entering the monastery for lifelong ordination. Luang Pa Wat Paknam took ordination at Song Pinong Temple and was given the monastic name of Jantasaro Piku. He remained only one rainy season at that temple before traveling to Bangkok to further his studies at Wat Chetupon in both scriptural and meditational subjects. He was outstandingly conscientious in his study of the scriptures from renowned teachers, traveling regularly to Wat Arun on the opposite banks of the Chao Phraya River, Wat Mahathat, Wat Sutat, and Wat Sam Bloom in search of knowledge. He even sought extra scriptural knowledge by spending time in temples such as Wat Mahathat, Suphanburi, and returned periodically to his home temple at Song Pinong. From the earliest days of his ordination onwards, Luang Pa Wat Paknam devoted the best part of his time to training himself in meditation. He meditated daily without exception and roamed from temple to temple in quest of knowledge concerning the proper way to meditate. In his 11th year as a monk, he found himself at Bot Bon Temple, Bang Khu Wieng Nonthaburi. In the middle of his rainy season, he reflected on the vocation to ordain he had had in his heart since the age of 19. He realized that although he was now in his 12th reigns, he still had not attained direct experience of any small part of Buddha's enlightenment. He thus felt inspired to strive to the utmost on the full moon day of September 1914. When he returned from alms round that morning, he organized things to minimize any remaining worries in his mind, and made his way to the main chapel to sit for meditation. He made up his mind that if he were not to hear the sound of the midday drums, he would no more move from his meditation mat. He meditated using the mantra Samma Arahang until he started to experience extreme pain throughout his body. He endured the pain by virtue of the vow he had made, and eventually managed to transcend the pain. His mind became more serene until it came to a standstill, at a single point at his diaphragm appearing as a bright sphere, the size of a yolk of an egg, steadfast and joyous at his center. The same evening, having completed his various duties, he returned to the main chapel a second time for meditation and again vowed, O Lord, impart to me the Dhamma which you attained on the day of your enlightenment. If my enlightenment will be of virtue and benefit to Buddhism, then please, O Lord, transport me to the greatest Dhamma. I shall be thy champion to maintain and uphold the greatness of thy teachings. But should my enlightenment be in vain, of no benefit to thy teachings, then, Lord, I will sacrifice my life in this meditation as the only offering I have for thee. The bright, clear sphere from earlier that day was still firmly established at the center of his body, and now became brighter and clearer at his center. It expanded and became as bright as the midday sun. The sound of the ancient words, Majjhima Patipata, or the middle way, were mysteriously to be heard at the center of his body. He was able to see a bright spot at the center of his body, and he expanded the sphere, enlarged, and disappeared. He whispered to himself, it's so hard like this. This is why no one else could manage to achieve it. Sensation, memory, thought, and cognition, all these things must be united into one single spot. Once the mind is filled, it ceases to be. Once it ceases to be, the new one can arise. Stopping his mind continuously, he was able to attain Dhammakaya, or body of enlightenment, a body which had an appearance similar to Buddha image with the lotus bud as its topknot, but completely clean and pure like crystal. Luang Wat Paknam revised and further refined his inner experience until at the end of his meditation. The vision of a temple appeared to him, which he recognized as Wat Bang Pla, where he had studied in his youth, and it occurred to him that this must be the place where he must start to spread